Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to Minecraft RTX Survival. I hope you guys are having a good day. We are back from our expedition in the Nether and I have been doing a little bit of experimentation. This video, by the way, is sponsored by NVIDIA and scan.co.uk. Once again, a little bit more about them coming up later in the episode. But yeah, I've been a little bit confused about the state of Minecraft RTX because I remember playing the beta and the lighting effects being a really big highlight of it, so I was kind of surprised when I started building this house and these windows didn't provide this kind of like blue silhouette on the wall when light traveled through them. And I've been doing a little bit of experimentation and I've discovered that the lighting effects do still exist. They are just a lot more subtle when it comes to natural white light. If you take a look at these three blocks here, you will notice we've got some yellow stained glass, some magenta stained glass, and some blue. The blue is probably the most subtle of all, but in the yellow and in the magenta, you can quite clearly see. I'll remove the HUD there so you can see a slightly better representation of what's going on here. The yellow around there is definitely casting a yellow light around the walls, and the magenta is doing the same over there. It seems like the blue is actually a little bit more transparent. The blue color isn't infused into the glass in the same way, and the sides of this blue pane actually don't really look blue at all. They actually look kind of clear. So the light is actually reacting to that in the way that the texture is made. It's just that it's actually a lot more subtle when you're using glass to cover up a white light source. Now, I have done a little bit more investigation behind the scenes, and I was actually able to copy this world and load it up using the Minecraft RTX Showcase resource pack. And let me show you a couple of the differences. So with a sneaky little bit of file manipulation, yeah, I did a little bit of copy and pasting, apologies for that, but I've loaded up a creative copy of the house in the same world with a different texture pack. This is the Minecraft RTX Showcase pack. As you can see, a lot of stuff subtly different. Some textures weren't changed because they just weren't used in the maps provided, but I thought I wanted to get to the bottom of this. So inside the house, we have a couple of different rooms over here. I'm using the tower room to show you guys what I just did in the room on the other side with colored glass above glowstone. This is glowstone in this texture pack, and the sprites are a little bit weird. The red stained glass doesn't show up in my hotbar, but I am holding it in my hand right now, and if you place the red stained glass on top of that, it certainly gets a bit of a red tint to the blocks around it, but once again, it is a lot more subtle. It's still using the white light as the base, and it's just adding a subtle red glow to it. Same over here with this light blue. It gets ever so slightly light blue, but the fact is that light blue and white actually have a fair amount in common. The lightness of it is not really changing the environment all that much. If I go into the creative inventory here and I pick something a little bit more extreme, like magenta, for example, even that is subtle, but you do notice the difference. And another way I found of making the effect a little bit stronger is to use black glass around the outside, just to darken the effect a little bit. Or if I put a black piece of glass over the top of there and then add a different color to it, you see it does start to affect the light a little bit more. Now, the reason a lot of the lighting was so strong in the RTX Minecraft Showcase maps is because they were using certain blocks as light emitting blocks. Right here I have a block of redstone, a block of emerald, and a block of diamond, and these are all light emitting blocks in this pack with the intention of showing you how strong light sources can be, what they can be used for with the right texture pack, and the kind of emissive color you get when you're working with these blocks. And I gotta say, this is the effect that I was after. This is the effect that I was almost expecting from stained glass, but ultimately the stained glass came out a little bit more subtle, which in a way I think is good, because you wouldn't necessarily want a build that used a lot of stained glass to be hampered by just a ton of light being thrown around everywhere and all of the colors blending together, probably ending up making brown or something that you didn't really want. Now let's take a look at my windows here as an example, and in fact, let's go back to our survival world to test those out. So as I've already mentioned, I was a little bit confused about why exactly the light hitting this wall didn't show up a little bit more blue, and if I'm quick right now, I can use the light to show you guys what that looks like with the yellow and magenta glass that I used for our example over here, because to be honest, I think the results are actually pretty surprising. Just going to run up the side of the house here, bridge over to this spot, and replace a couple of the windows. I'm so happy that I now have a silk touch pickaxe that will allow me to do that, because if I break out these panes here And if I put in the magenta panes, you will actually notice the difference on the wall there. See, it's actually showing up a different color to the other two panes. It's just that because I was using blue glass for every single pane, and the blue effect is actually kind of less than some of the other colors, I wasn't really noticing the difference, but the difference is very much there. If you look at the window on the left-hand side that currently has no glass in it, the light is a lot more natural and orange. The blue glass is actually filtering it down into a slightly more tungsten, like it's changing the color temperature of the light without really changing the hue all that much. And now if I put the yellow in there, that is very different. It's a lot stronger and it amplifies the natural yellow of the light. So I was wrong about that. It is actually still possible to do this in whatever Minecraft RTX pack you have. It's just the effect is a little bit more subtle when you're working with natural white light. And beyond that, it actually changes the color a little bit as the light fades. You can see the magenta there is turning a lot more rosy. The blue, before it disappeared, was also looking a little bit pink. It's really quite cool, and I love the way that it changes throughout the day. That's actually one of my favorite things now, even though I was expecting it to be really bold and solid colors. Anyway, with that demonstration done, I'm going to go and hang up the lanterns in here because this is one of my other favorite things. The way lanterns work, if you actually place them on the ground, they don't tend to emit light upwards, but if you hang them from the ceiling, they provide this really lovely ambient light to the place, which I really want to start working with a little bit more. Now that we have the option of working with these things that shed light a little bit further away and light up a room more holistically, I guess, I kind of want to work with that a little bit more. Now I'm going to use my Silk Touch pick to reclaim all of the glass and glowstone here, and now I have a Silk Touch pick. I'm definitely going to be heading back to the Nether and getting myself some more glowstone. The objective of today's episode is, of course, going to be to continue our survival progression, to head out to the Nether in search of a Nether Fortress and hopefully get ourselves some blaze rods and various other things that we'll need to get to the end eventually. But I also want to do a little bit of exploring of the world, and I want to do a little bit more building. I wonder if maybe we can start taking on some of the more challenging aspects of survival, like maybe an ocean monument, maybe look for a woodland mansion. I think we can maybe do some other stuff in this episode that I wasn't originally expecting to do. And while I spend a bit of time mining quartz in the Nether for XP, gathering glowstone, and looking around for a Nether Fortress, I'll remind you folks that this video is brought to you by NVIDIA and Scan Computers. Scan are the UK's leading supplier of computer hardware and PC components. Along with their range of GeForce RTX 30 series GPUs and additional PC components, they have their award-winning Scan 3XS range of custom PCs made to your specifications. You can click the link in the description to view Scan's range of customizable GeForce RTX 30 series systems. NVIDIA has just introduced the RTX 30 series, and this PC features the latest GPU from NVIDIA, the GeForce RTX 3080, which is up to 2 times faster than their previous RTX 2080. It features second-generation ray tracing and third-generation tensor cores. This GPU is capable of playing RTX games like Minecraft at 4K and 60 FPS. And for the record, it's allowing me to render 4K videos in a fraction of the time I rendered videos previously. If you're interested in checking out Minecraft RTX for yourself, you need to own a GeForce RTX GPU and Minecraft for Windows 10. You can sign up for the Windows Insider Hub to access the Minecraft beta and choose the Minecraft RTX beta from there. It's a really simple sign-up process, and I hope you enjoy it. Having been to the Nether and gotten a bunch of XP, one of the things I think that's really holding me back right now is the lack of bone meal to grow that sugarcane nice and fast with. So what I've done is come down here and set up a quick and dirty skeleton mob grinder. I think what we're going to do is maybe turn this into a bit of an XP farm, but for now, we can just focus on collecting the drops. And we're going to have this wall here dig down a little bit further. I just need to block off a little bit more of this. All we're going to do is have the skeletons drop down onto a magma block here. The magma block is going to have a hopper minecart underneath, which should hopefully pull all the drops through, assuming that works the same in Bedrock Edition as it does in Java. And then all of the drops are going to go through the hopper minecart into a hopper, which will then output to a chest. And we should just be able to stand here AFK if we want to and get ourselves a bunch of drops that way. Now let me dig out another trench right here. I think we'll have to lower this by one more block just to make sure the skeletons aren't going to be bottlenecked by other skeletons standing in the way. And we'll have the magma block there for them to take damage on. We'll have the hopper underneath it and the hopper minecart on top of that. I will need to quickly run back to the house and get some rails, because that's one thing that I neglected to bring over here when we were setting this whole thing up. But that should be hopper into chest, once the drops end up on the magma block, then hopefully they should transfer straight through. And I can create a little access ladder to this little hole here so that we don't have to interact with the spawner at all. Should just be a matter of funneling them in using water streams, which will be nice and easy to do. They'll take damage on the magma block. We can always hit them with a sword a little bit as well if we want to. Apparently the Wandering Trader is out and about somewhere. Maybe he's been killed by wolves? I don't know. Or maybe he ran afoul of the pillagers, because there was a pillager captain wandering around my little settlement earlier, and I stayed my distance and looked at some of the adorable pigs until he went away. But yeah, I have a feeling that he might be back, or maybe he's despawned by now. Who knows? Here we go. Rail on top of the hopper minecart on top of that, and let's just check the items can go in via the magma block. Looks like they can. Perfect. Okay, now we should just need to block this off, make sure there are slabs around it, and we'll be good to go. And the magma block is actually ideal here because we're encountering a rare case in which a light-emitting block is now not actually emitting light to the rest of the world. If I turn off the ray tracing functionality here, which I should be able to do, now that I've switched off ray tracing, if I remove that torch, you will see this block actually isn't emitting any world light. It's not emitting any block light, which will mean that any magma blocks in the area will provide light for the player when ray tracing is switched on, but they won't provide light to the world, meaning we can use them to see by, but not necessarily have them affect mob spawning, which is one of the weird little angles you have to work with Minecraft RTX. Is this actually preventing mob spawning, or is it just a light emitting block because magma blocks look like they should? I gotta say, it certainly allows for some interesting scenarios when it comes to some of these mob spawners and decorating, but it does mean that I will have to remember to put some torches up in here, or maybe some glowstone in the floor down here. That seems like a cool idea, just so that we can make sure the area is spawn-proof for us, and maybe not for the skeletons, but certainly for us. Okay, let's hop back up to here, and it should simply be a case of getting water streams along this back wall, making sure we've removed any of this other infrastructure from around here, and then building an access ladder down into this chamber, and then just blocking it off so the skeletons can't shoot me. Okay, gonna have to do this a little bit quick, because once the torches wash away, skeletons are gonna start spawning in here. I'm also gonna close off any of the remaining access to this room, not just for purposes of any other mobs getting in here, but also so that we block any other light that might be trickling in here and there, and hopefully we should get a nice dark room. Gonna leave the magma block under here so that we can still see, but once again, that should not affect mob spawning. Here's hoping. Now let me grab a couple of buckets of water so I can make this as quick as possible, hopefully, and I think I'll probably remove that water source there, and then that can all flow down into here. We can probably just hop across the fence gate and hopefully block that up behind us. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Now let's try and get that done. Immediately, we got some spawns in here. I need to make sure that I block as many of the arrows as I can so that I don't do that and place water basically everywhere. There we go. All right, we're out. We're out. And hopefully if we end up blocking this up like so, we should now start to get some skeleton spawns in here that are going to make their way down. Now, standing right here, I should still be within range of the spawner, and yep, the skeletons are making their way down here, and none of them can see me, which is actually really great. Now, if I hit them a couple of times, we might be able to deal a little bit of damage like that, and hopefully all of the drops should end up in the chest. Okay, we got a few bones and arrows coming in. That looks like that's working pretty well, actually. Very nice. And once again, the magma, even though it is really, really bright for us right here, should not be affecting the rates of the spawner whatsoever. Might give myself a little bit more headroom here, since the skeletons shouldn't be able to see me behind that slab. And unquestionably, the coolest part of this for me is the fact that the killing mechanism is also providing us with natural ambient light to the area without affecting the mob spawns in any way. That isn't even providing any light to the mob spawner, so that is actually kind of perfect. Close to a stack of bones later, I think we're probably going to call it there for the moment. I've got a decent amount of that. I also got myself an Unbreaking 2 Power 2 bow, which I can always combine with the Infinity one if I want a couple extra enchantments on there. So after I'm done kicking the drowned and the spiders out of my wheat farm, I can finally grow a little bit more of the sugarcane, which is going to mean we can complete our enchanting setup and end up with level 30 enchantments on everything, including some of the diamonds I dug up while I was working on that skeleton spawner. The next question is, with a dispenser, an observer, and a piston, can I make an automatic sugarcane farm? The answer is, of course I can. It works super well, actually. I mean, the sugarcane is going everywhere, but that's nothing a few extra planks can't fix. Maybe a couple of well-placed slabs over the top, and that will be a pretty effective little contraption. It certainly gave us a few stacks of sugarcane, so considering that the cows have bred up pretty successfully as well, I see no reason why we can't finish off our supply of bookshelves now. And a diamond chest plate seems like the obvious choice out of the diamonds we've got, but I kind of feel like a leggings and helmet situation is probably going to work out better for us. It's a little bit more coverage. We can enchant the iron chest plate that we have. Mostly working with diamond armor now, though, which is very, very good. And we could maybe make a diamond shovel if we find a couple more, but I don't need to worry too much about that at this stage. So it's time to see what our equipment will get in the enchantment table. Respiration 2 doesn't sound super promising. Thorns 1 likewise, and fire protection 3 on the leggings. Could be better, could be worse. The sword is going to get fire aspect. Okay, I wonder. Maybe I'll chance it on the helmet, and if that gets respiration 2, blast protection 4 ain't too bad. I guess I can take it. Still getting fire aspect on the sword, projectile protection on the leggings, and fire protection on the boots once again. What does a book get us? More respiration, piercing, and so forth. Okay, not to worry. Maybe I'll see what I get on the iron chest plate. More projectile protection, really? Okay, well, I think maybe I'll do a low-level book enchant. Maybe we can grindstone that later. I guess I could grindstone any of this, really. And that's blast protection 4 on the leggings now. Feather falling 4 on the boots sounds a lot more promising, and we get unbreaking 3 as well. Okay, I will take that. I'm comfortable with that at this stage. And now the sword gets sharpness 4, unbreaking 3. Heck yes! That's more like it. Now we're really cooking with gas. And now we're only getting fire protection, but I need a little bit more leveling up to do anyway. That's not looking too shabby right now. We could probably do with seeing what's on the chest plate as well. That's fire protection again. Okay, I'd prefer an all-round protection type if I can manage it. But with a little bit more food cooked up and a decent set of tools and armor right now, I think we're probably ready to head back to the Nether and take on our next challenge, which is tracking down a Nether Fortress. I've had a good look around, and I haven't been able to find one quite yet, but hopefully, if I keep my wits about me, I should be able to run into one sooner or later. One thing I have done is mark my way up to the surface a little bit better thanks to some of the glowstone that we picked up here and there and a couple of cobblestone pillars, just kind of making markers that show me which way to go back down to the portal. It's kind of useful to have these little almost like slalom gates that you can just weave your way through on the way home. That seems like a good way of doing it to me, at least. Now, we've been here already. I think the main directions we can go are probably either that way or that way, because those seem to be the areas where there's a bit more open nether where I'd expect a fortress to generate. I am just going to quickly hop over here, though. Once again, checking the area behind me to make sure that I haven't overlooked a fortress that is really, really close to my portal. And it looks like this way is a little bit more open as well. Let me just place a couple of torches so I know which direction I came here, and that is a vast open expanse, but I'm not seeing any kind of fortress structure from here. I'll take a quick look over in this direction, and nope, looks like I'm not seeing anything that way either. We're going to have to do a bit of exploring one way or the other. Well, fair enough. I think I'm up to the challenge. Let's remove these torches so I don't mislead myself here, and we'll be on our way. Now, one of the things I've always heard about exploring for nether fortresses is it helps to move along the x-axis rather than the z-axis. So we're traveling basically east and west instead of north and south. And the reason for that being the fortresses tend to generate basically in strips going north-south. So we should hopefully intersect one or two of them if we end up heading in an east-west direction. There are huge lava falls going down the side of this netherrack slope here, which I'm probably just going to try and block off at the source just to make things a little bit easier on me when I'm navigating across this part of the landscape. That should be fine, and there, and the rest of that lava should hopefully start to disappear. It will pick up in that central bit there, but I think we should be good to go from here. Once again, everything being lit from below like this makes for a super atmospheric approach to the nether, and I'm going to place a couple of torches. It'll be pretty obvious to see where I've been with the floating areas of cobblestone there, and let's see if we can make our way through here, take out the ghasts if they choose to start a fight. I don't have my bow on my hotbar though, so I better hole up here quickly and grab it. And it was at that point I realized I didn't even have my bow with me. So I went back to the house, made myself an anvil with all of the spare iron, and upgraded my bow, thanks to the fact that we got another bow from the skeleton spawner. Alright, time for round 2. Let's actually take the bow with us this time, and hopefully we'll fare a little better. And I see it in the distance. It was just past where we were standing before when I realized I didn't have my bow. The Nether Fortress is on the horizon, and I'm going to try and take out some of these ghasts in the meantime, so we don't have to worry about them. That's a really long spur of it headed out into the lava lake, but it looks like we might have access to it down there. The blazes are out already, so I need to be a little bit cautious here, but hopefully there should be a nice, easy way down somewhere. Yep. That one may already have seen us. Okay, looks like we have a great angle of entry here, actually. Just got to make sure that this is all filled in and lit up so that I know which way I'm going. There's already a wither skeleton standing in the corridor over there. It looks like he... Oh, yep, he's noticed me. Okay, I'll back off a little way and see if we can block him off. Yep, perfect. I really wish I had looting on this sword, but I will definitely settle for sharpness, and the torches are doing very little to illuminate the surroundings. Well, all we really need here is to get that blaze spawner locked down so we can get ourselves some blaze rods for now. I really don't fancy fighting the wither just yet, but I don't know, maybe if this series continues in future, maybe we'll give the wither fight a try. I know a lot of people were very interested in seeing that. Our first blaze! There we go! We got it! And we managed to block the wither skeleton. Perfect. Alright, let's take him out. And I wonder what I collected there. Did I get some coal and a sword? Probably. That's usually what you end up getting from these guys. What are you standing on? Probably nothing now. Our first blaze rod, though. Brilliant. Okay, we didn't get a wither skeleton skull on our first kill, but we certainly got a little bit of stuff dropped down there. You can barely see what they're dropping, but they're certainly dropping it. And there in the distance as the blazes rise up. Look at them. Look how fiery they look. Yes, we are going to have to deal with that blaze spawner in just a second. But for now, let's hop down in here and... Oh, the atmosphere. Oh, it's absolutely dripping from this place at this point. The nether brick almost looks like red nether brick, given the lighting situation we've got going on here. But I wonder if there are any chests in here for us to loot. I'm certainly hoping there are. Certainly a few blazes for me to take on, and a few wither skeletons that I can hopefully get under this little bar. Yep, there we go. And I wonder if there's going to be any more coming out from around this crossroads. Nope, looks like it's just you over here, my friend. Well, come on over. Got plenty of room for you. Sorry, you must be this tall to ride. Let's go. All right, let's see if we can find another blaze around here somewhere. Light up these passages just to make sure that nothing's going to follow us. And I think that's the entrance to the interior of the Nether Fortress, completely blocked off by a giant column of lava. Of course it is. And I think I can hear some squishy magma cubes around here somewhere, so I got to be extra careful I do not aggro them, because they are dangerous as all heck in Bedrock Edition, as I learned in my Nether survival experience. Maybe if I pop up over here, we might find something. This whole structure is super dark and very, very daunting to explore. We can probably rush this blaze if I'm careful. Got to have the shield up and at the ready. And, yep, he hasn't spotted me yet. Great. Let's give him a couple of taps. Didn't drop a blaze rod, but maybe we can make our way further down here. Oh, there's the magma cube. All right, I see how it is. Take him out from range seems to be one of the keys, and yep, there they go. Wow, they're so bouncy in Bedrock Edition. I don't get it. Magma cream as well, though. Fantastic. I'm a lot happier now we've got some of that and a blaze rod, because fire resist potions are going to make the nether a much less dangerous place for us later. Now, if only I could get into the Nether Fortress in the first place and snag myself some nether wart and soul sand, we wouldn't have as much of a problem with that mission. But yeah, looks like we are going to have to take on whatever this is very, very carefully and try and make our way into the fortress here. And I do not want the ghasts hanging around for that to happen, so let's take out as many of these as we can. Oh boy, the ghasts are certainly spawning in plentiful supply. Not to worry though, we made it. We'll probably be able to block off the lava about there. Wait for that to run down, and we'll see what we can do about diverting it, maybe. I'm going to recommend that you never do what I am currently doing, but I think I really need to get this nipped in the bud, and that Enderman might be a little bit mad at me, so maybe we should come down and deal with him first. Another source over here in the wall, that can go. We should be able to come down here as the lava disperses, which it's doing nice and quickly, because this is the nether. Brilliant. Okay, we're in the clear. We are clear to enter, and we have a little bit of light coming from here, but beyond that we have ourselves some nether wart, and that is a welcome sight. That is one of the other things we need to get while we're in here, and I have no idea what's beyond it because this whole area is very, very dark. But I will grab a little bit of that. I'll grab a little bit of the soul sand as well. I have a feeling some wither skeletons are probably either behind this staircase or about to come down it. So let me grab as much of this as I can, and let's torch this place up while we can do it. I have the sinking feeling that this entire fortress, in fact, probably this entire world, has generated without any kind of loot chests in it, and that feels kind of bad to me. But if that is the case, then loot chests be darned, we got what we came for. We have ourselves a couple of blaze rods and a little bit of nether wart and soul sand to grow it on, so I call that a win. And I think I'll probably head back to the house, get myself a fire resistance potion cooked up, and from there we'll come back and we'll deal with a few more blazes. Here we go, I've got a little floor of stripped logs in the tower section of the base, still open to the sky right now, but here I think we can set up a little potion brewing stand. Let's craft one of them up. There we go, just the one, because we need the other blaze rod for blaze powder to fuel it, but we'll put that over there. We'll put some sort of chest nearby for the ingredients. Oh, it feels good. Feels good to have a brewing stand in a brand new world. That feels like progress to me, folks. Couple of little spruce trapdoors for a water source nearby, glass bottles from the glass that we've been cooking with, and there we go. It's all going into place. Brilliant stuff. I should probably start growing some nether wart. Maybe here in the corner, actually. Seems like a good place to do it. It'll kind of feel like it's growing up from the floor a little bit, but it'll also provide some useful brewing supplies. And I know we can bone meal sugarcane. Can you bone meal nether wart in Bedrock Edition? Just on the wild chance? No, of course you can't. Fair enough. Well, I can grow a little bit here while using the rest of it to brew up. And right here, I think we're going to brew up a potion of fire resistance and probably do a little bit of fishing to get ourselves a potion of water breathing, because the next thing I want to do, once we've gone back to the nether and got ourselves a few more blaze rods, is track down an ocean monument. I really want to see if we can take one of those on in RTX, and I cannot wait to see what they look like underwater with all those sea lanterns glowing in the distance. But you know what? It sort of feels like we should head to the ocean, because it sort of feels like we will have better luck with pufferfish if we end up going to the ocean. So I think let's go on a bit of a trip. I'm going to bring a spare bed with me as well, because you never know when you're going to need one of those. And some of the other miscellaneous stuff in my inventory is just going to have to stay there for now while I try and find a more permanent home for it. But I kind of want to see the sun setting over the ocean, so let's head out across the plains in this direction in search of an ocean. I'm pretty sure there is one over in this direction, because I'm pretty sure this is the direction I went to get hold of the dark oak wood. And hey, is that a village? Well, this seems like a very hospitable place to bed down for the night. I wonder if there are any inhabitants. We'll have to check in the morning, though, because the sun is setting over there. I really need to get to bed before any mobs come out. Anything good in the chests for breakfast? A couple of raw potatoes. I'll take the apples, though. Have an apple for breakfast. Sure. Why not? Anybody home? I don't hear any villager noise, and yeah, there doesn't really seem to be anybody around. Let's ring the bell and see if anyone reacts. Oh, there is a villager over there in the distance. I wonder where he's headed, though, because, yeah, not really seeing a whole lot going on there. Or maybe they're wandering away from a zombie or something. I don't know. But hey, carrots! I don't think I even have carrots back at my base. I better grab a few of these while I can. And I honestly don't know what I was thinking. I should take the potatoes as well. I should take anything I can get at this point, because I'm going to be able to grow some of those back at the base. The only thing I've been growing so far is wheat, and much as I would like to hang out and see if I can get some of the villagers to trade with me, I think the best thing to do at this point is to head off towards the ocean and continue with our fishing trip. Hey, we even stumbled upon another village. Fancy that. A little bit of beetroot growing here. I never really bother with beetroot. It's not the most useful crop in the world. There's a few poppies here, though. Oh, it's an abandoned village. Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, I wonder if maybe we can block some of these guys in. Hoping we can. Yeah, okay. I wonder if they will despawn. They might end up doing, but if we can cure them, that could be another great use for our brewing stand. Heck yes. Okay, well, let's see if we got anything in there. Oh, we got an emerald and some potatoes. Perfect. Great stuff. Now, let's see if we can keep some of these guys trapped in their homes for now. And if we can come back and cure them later, that would be a fantastic little project for later on in this world. I tell you what, folks, I have played a lot of this game, but I've not really found that many zombie villages before. That's super cool. Okay, well, once again, we're going to have to bid it farewell on our journey to the ocean, which is literally just over here. But I think if we can close up some more of these doors, hopefully we should be able to come back and cure them, as long as they don't end up despawning, because they are, after all, zombies. And hey, there's a grindstone here for me to take as well. Let me try and sort out my inventory here. Probably want to get rid of the rotten flesh. Amazing. Tiger zombie village. Who'da thunk it? All right, let's get to the ocean. Let's drop into our boat, and let's go for a little bit of a fish. Now, it feels a little bit weird because it kind of looks like the boat is waterlogged to me, but it's certainly really cool being out here with the reflections of the landscape on the water. And some of the reflections start to show up even... Oh, hey, dolphin. Some of the reflections start to show up even before land really comes into sight. But I imagine that's just a product of my render distance being set to something a little bit different. Let's see if we can find a good spot to fish. This seems like more of a giant lake, really, than an ocean. It doesn't seem like there's really much ocean to be had here, so certainly not an ocean monument as such, but it's nice to do a little bit of scouting for it just in case we find one. There we go, upped my render distance a little bit, and it seems to be a little bit clearer. I like that a lot, and it's so nice seeing the zombie village just over there on the horizon. In fact, I think I might fish just offshore of there so that I can kind of memorize the location a little bit and feel like we can return here in future. So let's hop up onto our boat. Oh, it's real dark underneath here, but man, look at this. I love exploring a bit of the underwater landscape, and thankfully we enchanted the helmet with respiration earlier, so I get a little bit more time to do that. I'm wondering if we'll be able to find a warm ocean biome. A few people said they would really love to see the coral reefs and underwater temples in Minecraft RTX, and I certainly agree with you, but just looking at the reflections of all of the undersea animals just from the surface there, that's a super cool effect. Right, let's get back into the boat, let's cast our line out, and let's see if we can catch ourselves a pufferfish. Whoa, he just fished up one heck of an enchanted bow. It's got mending on it and everything. Our first mending thing in the world. That's super great. I was really hoping for another fishing rod as well, so maybe if we get lucky. Yeah, I've been throwing out some of the stuff I caught to make a little bit more room. Hopefully we'll get lucky and get a slightly better fishing rod, but at the very least what I'm hoping for is a pufferfish. Hey, we got one, and it's been so serene and peaceful out here with the setting sun casting the light over everything. It's really, really nice out here. Definitely feels very, very peaceful. And a little bit less peacefully, I'm going to head back over towards the zombie village, and we're probably going to set down for the night here because running back might get a little bit dangerous. Right now, we're going to sleep in this bed that I brought with me, the travel bed, the sleeping bag, and then I think we're going to make our way back to the tower, brew ourselves up a potion of water breathing, and who knows where we'll go from there. Well, I think where we're going to end up is actually going to be heading back into the nether and using these fire resist potions to get myself some blaze rods, because the thing that's most important to me in this series is that we fulfill the promise I had of going to the end and fighting the Ender Dragon by episode 5. And I honestly don't know where I'm going to find an ocean monument at this stage. I did a little bit more exploring by boat, and I really can't find many other ocean biomes around here, which means they are probably in a variety of places further out in the world, and I just don't know if I can spare the time right now. I am recording each of these episodes the day before it comes out, and I'm kind of down to the wire on this one. So I'm going to sleep for the night in here. We're going to head back through to the nether, and we're going to prioritize getting ourselves some blaze rods. But if you guys really like this series and want it to continue, then of course we will be returning to it at some point in future, especially once Scan have got their custom 3XS build ready for me. We might be able to squeeze in a visit to an ocean monument or something like that. But in the meantime, I want you guys to really hype this video up for me. Hype up this whole series. Share it with your friends. Do what you can to spread the word about this Minecraft RTX series. And maybe we'll end up making even more videos in this series, even once this sponsored mini-series is over. But with the fire resist potion in hand, it's time to step out onto the ramparts of this Nether Fortress and take on the blazes. And hopefully we should be able to get a couple more blaze rods from this. I really wish we had looting on the sword, but in the meantime we can certainly take on a couple of these bad boys, and hopefully we'll get a few more blaze rods. At least we got one spawner here that we can work with. There might be a couple more blazes spawning elsewhere in the fortress, but as long as we hang around here, we are guaranteed to get ourselves the blaze rods we need. Well, 20 blaze rods and 2 potions of fire resistance later, I don't want to press my luck. I think we're probably going to be good. We've definitely got enough blaze rods that we can do what we want with the ender pearls, get some eyes of ender, find the stronghold, but that is going to be another story for another time. I will just be happy to get back to my house and wrap things up for today. Oh, and it's raining. Of course it is. A welcome return to the overworld. And I don't know if this is just a quirk of the way rain works in Bedrock Edition or something else, but I love that you get sun showers sometimes. Having rain from a sunny sky really feels like there should be a rainbow happening somewhere over there. But I feel like this is an ideal time to wrap up this episode of Minecraft RTX and wrap up this little 3-episode mini-series of Minecraft RTX. Now, like I said, there will be 2 more episodes coming in future, but those are not going to be coming right away. They will be coming when my new PC gets here from Scan. So we are going to be giving the series a little bit of a break. You guys can get hype for it in the meantime and let me know what you want to see when we come back. If you want to see more episodes, if you want to see the series progress after we fight the dragon and we do a little bit of extra stuff, it will be really cool to find out. In the meantime, I think I might continue this house and see if I can get it finished by the time you guys get back and watch another episode. But thank you so much for your support on this series so far. It really has mean a lot. I don't take these kind of sponsorship videos very often. When I do, it's folks like NVIDIA who are doing really exciting stuff with Minecraft that I really feel like is going to be worth your time and mine. So please, leave a like on it for me if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.